The sun beat down mercilessly on Arlington National Cemetery, turning the white marble headstones into mirrors of blinding light. Sergeant Marcus Webb stood perfectly still at his post before the tomb of the unknown soldier, his face an impenetrable mask despite the sweat trickling down his spine beneath the crisp uniform. Every movement was precise, practiced 10,000 times until it became more than muscle memory, it became reverence. 21 steps. Face the tomb. 21 seconds. Turn. Face north. 21 seconds. 21 gun salute. 21, the highest military honor. Marcus had walked this path for 3 years now, and every single step carried the weight of the fallen, the forgotten, the heroes who would never hear their names called again. He didn't notice the group of teenagers at first. Visitors came in waves during summer, and Marcus had trained himself to see through them, to exist in a space where only duty and honor lived. But then he heard it, the laugh. Not the soft, respectful murmur of moved visitors or even the awkward giggle of discomfort some felt in such a solemn place. This was loud, performative, designed to be heard. Dude, he literally can't move. Watch this. Marcus's jaw tightened imperceptibly. Through his peripheral vision, he saw the kid, maybe 17, wearing designer sunglasses that probably cost more than Marcus's monthly rent, holding up his phone. The boy's friends clustered behind him, some looking uncomfortable, but none stopping him. The teenager stepped over the chain barrier. The crowd gasped. An older veteran in the audience stood up, his face reddening, but before anyone could react, Marcus moved. The change was instant and absolute. One moment he was the living statue, the next, he was a force of nature striding toward the intruder with such controlled intensity that people instinctively stepped back. It is requested that everyone maintain an atmosphere of silence and respect at all times. Marcus's voice cut through the humid air like a blade. The words were formal, part of his training, but underneath them ran a current of something far more personal. Step back, behind the chains. The teenager, his name was Dylan Chen, though Marcus didn't know that yet, froze. For a moment, something flickered across his face. Shame, maybe, fear. But then his jaw set, and he lifted his phone higher, making sure he was still recording. Chill out, man, it's just a tomb. These guys are already dead. They don't care if I. Now, the single word carried the weight of every soldier Marcus had served with, every flag-draped coffin he'd watched loaded onto transport planes, every middle-of-the-night phone call that shattered families. The crowd was completely silent. Even the cicadas seemed to have stopped singing. Dylan stepped back, but his face had gone red. Whatever. This place is boring anyway. He turned to his friends. Let's get out of here. Marcus returned to his post, his face once again serene, but inside, something had cracked. In that kid's eyes, just for a second, he'd seen something he recognized. Something that looked like the desperate bravado of someone drowning and refusing the life preserver because admitting you need help means admitting you're not invincible. He'd seen it in the mirror, years ago. The ceremony continued. Marcus walked his 21 steps, made his turns, stood his vigil. But part of his mind stayed with that kid, wondering what kind of pain masqueraded as arrogance that thick. What Marcus didn't know was that Dylan hadn't left. He'd retreated to a bench at the edge of the cemetery, his friends long gone, staring at the video on his phone. His finger hovered over the post button. One click and it would go viral, he was sure of it. The comments would flood in, people laughing at the uptight soldier, calling him a try-hard, making memes. Dylan would get his followers, his validation, his proof that he mattered. His phone buzzed. A text from his father. Landing in 3 hours. Make sure you're cleaned up for the investors' dinner. Don't embarrass me this time. Dylan's throat tightened. He looked at the video again, then at the tomb in the distance where a new guard was beginning the changing ceremony. Tourists watched in reverent silence. An elderly woman was crying, clutching a folded flag to her chest. He didn't post the video. But he didn't delete it either. Instead, Dylan found himself walking back toward the tomb, keeping his distance this time, watching. The ceremony was like a dance, every movement deliberate and full of meaning he didn't understand. The guards moved like the weight of the entire nation rested on their shoulders, and maybe it did. When the ceremony ended and the guards retired, Dylan noticed the soldier from before, Marcus, walking toward the administration building. Dylan didn't know what made him follow. Anger, maybe, or curiosity, or something deeper that he couldn't name, the same thing that made him act out in increasingly desperate ways, searching for a reaction, any reaction, that felt real. "Hey," Dylan called out. "Hey, soldier guy." Marcus turned, his expression neutral but wary. Up close, Dylan could see he was younger than he'd seemed on the platform, maybe late 20s, with eyes that had seen too much too soon. "I'm Sergeant Webb." Marcus's voice was controlled, professional. "Right, Sergeant. Listen, I just wanted to say." Dylan trailed off, not sure what he wanted to say. "Sorry, no, that would make him look weak. That whole thing back there was pretty intense. You take this stuff really seriously, huh?" Marcus studied him for a long moment. "Why are you here, at the cemetery?" "My dad's in town for business. He made me come. Said it would be character building." Dylan made air quotes with his fingers, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "No," Marcus said quietly. "Why are you here, right now, talking to me?" The question hung between them. Dylan felt something shift in his chest, like a lock tumbling open. "I don't know," he admitted, and it was the most honest thing he'd said in months. Marcus glanced at his watch, then made a decision that would change both their lives. "Come with me." "What? Why?" "Because you crossed that chain looking for attention, and I don't think you found what you were really looking for." Marcus started walking, not checking to see if Dylan followed. "And because I pulled the same kind of stunt when I was your age, except I got arrested for it. Consider this your lucky break." Dylan hesitated, every instinct telling him to leave, to maintain the armor of not caring. But something about the way Marcus had said it, without judgment, without anger, just stating a fact, made him curious. He followed. Marcus led him through paths Dylan hadn't noticed before, past sections with newer headstones, past memorials and monuments. Finally, they stopped at a simple grave. The name read, Joshua Webb, beloved son and brother. The dates showed Joshua had been 23 when he died. "My brother," Marcus said simply. "Marines. Kia in Afghanistan. I was 18 when we got the news, about to graduate high school. I was angry at everyone and everything. Thought the world owed me something just for existing. Josh and I had fought right before he deployed. Stupid stuff. I'd borrowed his car without asking and wrecked it. Last thing I said to him was that he was a controlling jerk who acted like he was better than everyone." Dylan felt his throat tighten. Marcus's voice remained steady, but his hands had formed fists at his sides. "When he died, I spiraled. Started drinking, fighting, failing out of college. Ended up in jail after I punched a cop. I was sitting in that cell, looking at serious charges, when a Marine Corps recruiter came to see me. Friend of Josh's. He didn't lecture me, he just asked me one question. Is this what your brother died for?" Marcus turned to face Dylan fully. "So I'll ask you the same thing, kid. Whatever you're angry about, whatever you're running from, whatever you're trying to prove, is this who you want to be? Because right now, you're standing at a crossroads, and you don't even know it." Dylan's defenses crumbled. To his horror, he felt tears burning in his eyes. "You don't understand. My dad, he doesn't care about me. He cares about his company, his image, his legacy. I'm just another asset to manage. The only time he notices me is when I screw up badly enough to potentially embarrass him. So yeah, maybe I was looking for attention. Maybe I wanted someone to actually see me. I see you," Marcus said quietly. "And I'm telling you, there's a better way to be seen." They stood in silence as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the endless rows of white stones. Each one representing a life, a story, a person who'd chosen to stand for something bigger than themselves. "What do I do?" Dylan asked, his voice small. "You start by making a choice. You delete that video, or you post it. But you own the choice either way. And if you choose respect, I'll help you find what you're really looking for." Dylan pulled out his phone, looked at the video one last time, and deleted it. His hands were shaking. "Now what?" Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "Now, you show up tomorrow morning at 0600 hours. We're going to do something about that character your dad thinks you need to build. But I'm warning you, it won't be easy, and you can't half-ass it. You're either in, or you're out. 0600. That's 6 in the morning. Welcome to accountability, kid. Dylan laughed, surprised by the sound. It felt good, real. Okay, I'll be here. But I don't even know what we'd be doing. Learning what it means to serve something beyond yourself. Learning discipline, purpose, and respect, not because someone's forcing you, but because you choose it. Marcus extended his hand. Deal. Dylan shook it, feeling the firm grip, the calluses, the strength of someone who'd rebuilt himself from broken pieces. Deal. But Sergeant, why are you doing this? You don't know me. Marcus looked back at his brother's grave. Because someone gave me a second chance when I didn't deserve it. Because Josh always said the point of being strong isn't to prove you're better than others, it's to lift them up when they fall. And because when I saw you today, I didn't just see a disrespectful kid. I saw someone drowning who's forgotten how to ask for help. As Dylan walked back to his hotel that evening, the sun setting behind him, he felt something he hadn't felt in years: hope. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for the first time in his life, he was actually looking forward to finding out. Behind him, Marcus stood at his brother's grave a moment longer. I hope I'm doing the right thing, Josh, he whispered. I hope I can do for him what you tried to do for me. The evening breeze rustled through the leaves, and somewhere in the distance, taps began to play. Marcus came to attention, saluting his brother one more time before heading home. Tomorrow would be the real test, both for the angry teenager looking for purpose, and for the soldier still trying to forgive himself for words he could never take back.